Hi, how's it going, guys? I've just been thinking the last day or two about that college football season might be a lot more normal than what we thought it would be a few weeks ago or even a few months ago. And the reason I say that is because after watching this Austin Pay Central Arkansas game, if you would have taken myself from a year ago and placed me in the spot without any knowledge of the COVID pandemic and just had me watch this game, except for the masks, I'm not sure if I would have noticed a difference because I wouldn't have been surprised at the crowd, okay, because it's an FCS game and everything else is normal. And I'm excited to see when the Pac-12, or not the Pac-12, obviously they're not playing, but the Big 12, SEC, and the ACC start playing because obviously that's a much better on-field product and like teams like Clemson said they're going to have 19,000 fans in the stands. And a lot of people when I talk to and say, "Oh, it's only going to be like 20,000 or somewhere around there for a lot of teams." And I say to that, "Well, that's actually a lot more people than what is given credit for because a lot of people are just used to the 80,000 or so or even more fans at a college football game and they think that just because it's going to be around 20,000 or 19,000 whatever, it's going to be some greatly diminished product. But watching this game, you could still hear crowd reactions. You can still, and there was only 2,000 fans in the stands, by the way, at this FCS game. You can still hear crowd reactions. You can go into the stands and see faces, emotional faces, like depending on what play happened, and you can hear noise after certain plays. And I'm thinking, when you start FBS football and you actually see the fans and you see thousands of fans, because think like in basketball, when you see around 20,000 or so fans in a basketball game, that's normal. Like that's full capacity for a lot of teams, or even more than full capacity. And the only difference is this is going to be outside, not inside. Everything else is the same as far as atmosphere goes. I think that people underestimate just how much noise 20,000 or so people can make. And I think a lot of people are just going to say it's some watered down college football season because of the lack of fans, or at least what from what it used to be. But I think that it's still going to be a lot more normal. The thing that's not going to be normal about is the Big Ten and Pac-12 not playing, which is to me is I think it's ridiculous. You look at the pandemic to say that they're somehow safer from not playing football is ridiculous. The sport itself is more dangerous than the coronavirus to college-aged students because when you think about it, they're playing a full season. A lot of them get hurt during the season, even if they don't get officially listed as an injury. Let's face it, everybody that knows about football knows that you get banged up over the course of the season. Long term, your body is it's hard work on your body. It just really is, and especially with they want to talk about long term effects to the heart. Well, in football, there's long term effects to the brain. Everybody knows that. There's a whole lot of science for that too. If the Big Ten really cared about 100% really cared about their students and safety, they would not even play football. They would cancel all football for the rest of, for the future, even when this pandemic's over, because football is a lot more dangerous than the coronavirus. And some people probably think, oh, I don't give the Big Ten any ideas, which obviously they're not going to cancel football because it's so much money, or at least they're not going to cancel it, obviously, you know, for the future. They will this year, but it's it's ridiculous. And also, they're bringing back tens of thousands of students to campus. They're going to be around those students, and they're still letting them practice during the week too. So it's completely safe for them to be around students. It's safe for them to be around their own team, but yet it all of a sudden becomes just somehow not safe when they play other schools. It's this is ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense. And like I said, I think this season, if the ACC, um, Big 12, and SEC play and have a good product, and they get through the like maybe the first month of play without any like hiccups, which there might be, but you have to expect that because you know what's going to happen. there's going to be some team that has an outbreak and a game's going to be canceled, and then a lot of people are going to be freaking out. But you see with the MLB right now, that's happening, but they're still going along. Like I think every team is back now. Like I know the Cardinals and the Marlins and maybe another team here and there had some COVID outbreaks, and a lot of people said, "Oh, there's no way you can play." But I think they've proven that you can still find a way to play. And the MLB's harder in the sense that you don't have nearly as much time as college football to figure out what you're going to do when you have a COVID outbreak. The next day you have a game. You have like a string of games like day after day you have to play. You don't have much time. So that's why you have to cancel a bunch of games. In college football, there's a week in between games. So there you have a lot more time to figure out what you're going to do too. So I think that the chances of games being postponed are less than the MLB. And you even see the MLB, they're staying on course and they're still probably going to finish their season. And so with college football, you're going to have some teams play with no fans, but I really do think that you get anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000 fans in a stadium, you're still going to have a relatively decent atmosphere. Obviously, it's not the full capacity, um, huge crowds that we're used to. But again, I think people need to understand that's still a lot of people and it's still like a good atmosphere. And I think that, I'm getting excited for this season. I'm a Penn State fan, and so it's unfortunate because like I won't be able to watch Penn State probably, or at least not probably not, because you'll see the Big Ten kind of backtracking, saying, "Oh, we might play in November now," which is also ridiculous. Because if you're gonna play in November, but say, okay, that's safe, but you can't play in September or October because it's gonna be so much more different. The only thing that's gonna be different is that you're not gonna have all the students on campus because after Thanksgiving, they're gonna be doing online, and then the first semester will be over. And but that's the only reason. But I'm just saying that college football season, I think, is going to be fine. I think the Big Ten and the Pac-12, specifically the Big Ten, because everybody knows they're the ones that made the big decision on this, and the Pac-12 just followed. The Big Ten could be the joke of college football if this season goes well for the other three Power Five conferences that are playing. And I'm honestly scared for the Big Ten because I'm a Penn State fan and I'm worried about what could happen with recruiting and stuff. But part of me hopes that just the Big Ten gets what it deserves in this situation, how they've treated a lot of the parents, players, coaches. And what kills me too is that they say, well, we're doing this for the health and safety of our athletes, but they refuse to release any information on why they made that decision to the athletes and the parents and the coaches. The people they claim they're making the decisions for, they refuse to treat well. They say they don't take their input, which the vast majority of the players and coaches and parents all want them to play. Okay, they won't take their input, and then when they do go against their input and say, "No, we know better than you. It's not safe to play." They refuse to release any information on why they made that decision that they can't put. So they really they're really showing how much they care about the student athletes and the Big Ten community as a whole because they claim they care so much about the safety and well-being and of the student athletes, but yet they refuse to do what the student athletes want. They just as simple as that. They wanted to play. The players wanted to play. The parents, the coaches, they all wanted to play. And then when they went against that decision, they all of a sudden said, "Nope, we can't provide you any information even though it's not safe. All you really know is that it's not safe, and we know better than you." Like that's what they're telling the players, and it's just upsetting because a few suits up in a room that basically have nothing to do with football can make decisions on whether it's a season or not. While the actual football people, like even the athletic directors, can't really influence the decision, have no say in anything, and that's what just kills me. like I said, I hope the Big Ten gets its due justice. I mean, we'll see, but I'm rooting for college football, and I'm looking forward to what college football can look like this year. And I'm pretty excited, not just for college football, but the NFL as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing over the next few weeks what games are going to look like. All right, well, thank you. That just thought, and that I wanted to get off my chest. And like and subscribe if you like what I thought. And see you later.